two stoners and a drunk. Hail 420 because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm Hanstard. With me, I have my co-host Sith and Mox.
Hell 420.
Hell 420. How's it going on? How's it going, Mox?
I'm doing good, man. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah. Just chilling.
I've had a busy day, but I'm ready to chill out and have some fun with my bros and talk about some stuff.
Hell yeah.
Well, what do you got in mind tonight? 90s music, perhaps?
Yeah, 90s music. I mean, 80s music was very popular last week. Music in general seems to be popular, so I figured we'll just keep the train rolling and go to 90s music because although I'm a fan of 80s music, I was really more of a 90s kid as far as when I really got into music personally. So it's probably a lot better topic for me.
There are so many awesome bands and songs that came out of the 90s. And I mean, I don't think we can even begin this conversation without possibly one of the greatest bands of the 90s, Nirvana.
Oh, yeah. I am a huge Nirvana fan. I remember when, Kurt Cobain was found dead, and I had a friend that like people straight up were worried he was going to commit suicide. That's how into it he was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was bad. It's funny because talking about Nirvana, I have a Pervana shirt on tonight.
There you go.
With a cat on it. It's probably also heavily covered in cat hair because I have 4 cats.
It wouldn't be complete without the cat hair.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you got cats, cat hair is part of the wardrobe.
But that a lot of people say, "Oh, that's when they sold out and went mainstream." But who doesn't remember when "Smells Like Teen Spirit" came out?
Oh yeah, the video that went with it.
Yeah, that stuff was played on MTV, and up until then, grunge, or Seattle music, whatever you prefer to call it, was kind of more underground. They started playing. On MTV there for a while, it was like every 5 songs would smell like Teen Spirit.
Yep. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. I did not used to be a big Nirvana fan. I've only started really appreciating them within the last 2 or 3 years. My roommate, man, he's a big metal guy. He comes up with some of that obscure stuff, some of the mainstream stuff, and he loves Nirvana, and it's something that's kind of grown on me.
And it's not a popular opinion to a lot of people, but I'll tell you honestly, one of my favorite all-time albums, which just so happens to be a Nirvana album, is their Unplugged in New York album they did.
Oh yeah,
where it's all acoustic, all unplugged. I love that. If I had to go Desert Island and take one album, it would be Nirvana Unplugged in New York.
Yeah, their acoustic stuff that really put a whole new spin on Kurt Cobain, in my opinion, because although you hear him in the songs and he's screaming and stuff in the mainstream stuff, it doesn't sound like he can really sing until you get to those acoustic sessions.
Yeah,
and that's where really the heart and soul of where his lyrics took over was in those acoustic songs.
Yeah, you take the electronics and the screaming out of it, and you see how good a damn musician he really was.
Mm-hmm. I think one of my favorite songs by them is "Where Did You Sleep Last Night?"
Oh yeah, I like that song too.
Yeah,
that one don't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, my girl, don't lie to me. Tell me where did you sleep last night? Yeah,
in the pines.
Yeah, in the pines where the sun don't ever shine. They actually, there's a regular version of that. Then they also did the unplugged version of it as well.
And that's been covered quite a few times over, the last, couple of decades. Like that, even like Ryan Upchurch, he even did a version of that, which, kind of surprising for Upchurch, but,
Yeah.
Hey, Wookie, what's good, man? Hey, Candy Cane.
Good to see everybody. I don't know if he's still here, but Chris Knight was here earlier. It was good to see Chris. Candy Cane's here. Wookie's here.
Yeah, we can always count on Wookie at one point or another.
As long as we're not doing country, then Wookie will stop by.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Wookie's not a big country fan, apparently.
Yeah, Candy Cane called out Garbage, and that was actually a pretty good band too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked Garbage. Didn't they do the one like Stupid Girl or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Supergirl,
Yeah, I only like it when it rains.
Queer.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chris,
And
welcome
here
back.
he is.
Yeah. Welcome back, Chris. Hey, Anthony. Welcome to the show. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Hello,
Yeah.
Anthony. Can't hardly hear you, Anthony.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Is it low?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real
Yeah,
low.
you were low, yeah.
Glad you joined us tonight. Late or not, always welcome.
he's-
and always glad you're here.
He's on musician time.
Yeah.
No, but it's funny that you brought up Nirvana, Mox, because I was
Yeah.
because I was going to mention the Foo Fighters, which basically,
I like some Foo Fighters.
basically is Nirvana without Cobain.
Yeah, David Grohl left them as the drummer and then went over and started that band, and they put out some damn good music too.
Yeah, sorry about that. My brain kind of froze up for a brief second. I'm like, "What are you gonna say? Hurry up, we're live." You know.
Wookie
I'm a
calls
starter.
out.
What do you want?
Wookie calls out Typo Negative, and I'm familiar with a few of their songs, and I like some of the stuff I've heard out of them too.
Not a fan.
Yeah, that's not in my wheelhouse. You and Anthony may be more apt to talk about that.
That's actually like my favorite band.
Chimera, I'm not as familiar with.
Chimera.
Chimera.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Chimera. That's some rocking shit right there. That's like dangerous stuff to get behind the wheel and drive to.
Candlebox had a couple of really great songs that I love still today.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were a staple in the 90s.
Yeah, left me far behind, and I can't remember the name of the other great song they did. I smoke too much weed. I mean,
It is two stoners and a drunk.
well, I'd hate to let y'all down.
It's all good.
Anthony, you're more familiar than the other guys with Typo Negative, man. Name a couple of songs that you really rock out to by them. Okay, I think. Oh, he's on mute. I didn't notice that. My bad.
You're muted.
Yeah, I think he knows that.
Oh,
It's Wookie said it's not good music if it doesn't hurt your neck.
I kind of have to agree with that. I did a lot of headbanging. I had long hair when I was a young guy.
Kind of like our 80s talk. I was never really a headbanger. I was into like the alternative or grunge music and stuff like that, but I was never really a headbanger. Of course, I never really had long hair to bang. So
In the younger days, I did, but I'm not young anymore. Third Eye Blind. Yeah, I love a couple of their jams. Silverchair, great band. Yeah, I love Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. It's really good.
yeah, that's a good song.
Sorry about that, guys. Is that better?
Yeah, you're good.
oh, yeah,
You're good.
You weren't getting it because I didn't even realize it wasn't coming through my headphones. It was coming through my Bluetooth speaker, and I was like, "Oh shit, are they getting an echo?" So that's why I muted. I wanted to get the audio situated. All right, cool.
Yeah, we were throwing it to you for the Typo Negative knowledge because Wookie was talking about Typo Negative, and that's kind of out of our wheelhouse.
Awesome band.
Yeah.
They're like the Pink. They're the Pink Floyd of I call them the Pink Floyd of the goth scene. You know, the original goth scene, not the glam goth scene that came around in the late '90s. And I mean, well, it depends on which album you go with, but the name of the song, the original name was "Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity," otherwise known as. That's like one of my favorite songs by them. They do an amazing cover of which you can't get on a record, but if you can get a bootleg of it, they do. Come on, baby, light my fire.
Oh yeah.
Good cover of that. Bloody Kisses is like probably their biggest hit, but I like Love You to Death. That's probably my favorite song.
Yeah.
But
That's the one that I have on backup that I love so much by them. Love You to Death. That's a really great song.
I meant to say.
Okay, I gotta agree with you. Tool is great.
Yeah, Tool. Pantera.
Yeah.
I think he was mentioning Pantera.
Yeah, Wookie for sure is a more hard
Yeah, he's a
music
metalhead.
guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it was Wookie and somebody else the other night from karaoke that was hitting me up. It was like, hey, how about some rock? How about some metal? And yeah, I'm like, I'd love to do that, but I don't think you guys want to hear me take an attempt at that.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's anybody that she has on that could really bust out the metal. I know I couldn't. Not without it being super horrible.
I could, but it just wouldn't sound good on an acoustic. Like I could break out Metallica on the acoustic. That you could kind of pull off. But playing anything else, I mean, I guess you could try. I guess, but
I don't think I've ever heard a acoustic metal version of anything before like that.
I mean, I've done.
Yeah, Pearl Jam, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
90s band.
Yeah, Candy's up on the 90s bands for real.
Did anybody mention Alice in Chains yet?
No.
No, not yet. I was about to, and also Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh yeah.
Alice in Chains. I call them the Guns N' Roses of the 90s. Because they just pick like a killer rock album from the 90s. It would have to be it would be from Alice in Chains. It would either be Facelift or Dirt, depending on how dark you want to go. They're awesome. Concrete Blonde.
Well,
There were a lot of bands that came out of the 90s that I would more or less say are one-hit wonders, or at least you only know like the one song bomb.
Yeah.
And I was riding around today taking care of some errands, and one of my favorite songs came out of that generation was Fine Young Radicals. You Only Get What You Give.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I love that song.
Unless you were like a diehard grunge guy, I guess they're technically a one-hit wonder. The Screaming Trees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like Screaming Trees.
Yeah. They were a good one. Or oh, it's gonna bother me. I could see the come back to me.
You had a lot of other great. I know Jesus Jones was known from more than one song, but the one that got him popular was Right Here, Right Now.
Yeah.
And that they were kind of like a one-hit wonder with that. You had a lot of bands that popped out like that. The Offspring had maybe one or two that people kind of knew. Hell, Chumbawamba, who remembers them?
Tub
Tub
Thumping.
Thumping, yeah.
Yeah. Just a lot of really great songs and bands to come out of then. I mean, a lot of the mainstream stuff we know, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Nine Inch Nails was a great band. Rage Against the Machine, Jane's Addiction, yeah.
Smash Mouth, the Gin Blossoms. Oh yeah, the Gin Blossoms.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Blind Melon.
Ooh, Blind Melon. Yeah. Smash Mouth went on tour with that guy. He had like I always said he had like the Vanilla Ice haircut. But he was like into that pop rock sound. What the hell was his name? He went on, I think he like hosted a TV show after.
Oh, Mark McGrath.
Yeah. What was the name of his group?
Oh God. Every day I wake up.
I know it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it.
Oh, yeah. Somebody in that chat knows this. Come on.
Smash Mouth.
Sugar Ray.
Sugar
Yeah,
Ray.
Sugar Ray. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like on tour
Yeah.
all the time together.
Yeah.
Why the one band I'm thinking of is gonna really irk the shit out of me. But I can't get it.
Throw me some lyrics out here.
Hey, Chris, get out of my brain, dude. I was just thinking about that song, Virtual Insanity.
Oh yeah,
Awesome. With the moving room.
the Bee Girl. Yeah, Wookie the Bee Girl and No Rain by Blind Melon.
I mean, you
The little
can't think of-
tap dancing Bee Girl.
I don't care what music you're into. You can't think of the '90s without thinking of Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
True.
Even today, she's still got a hand out there in the music industry.
Oh yeah.
She was a huge part of Lilith Fair, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. She was. I think she was involved in all of them, wasn't she?
I know she was definitely a part of the first one. I know her and a couple other girls organized that thing.
Yeah. Chris is saying yep. I don't know if he's saying pop music blows or he's saying yep to Lilith Fair. But then you have to flip it to the other side of the coin.
Uh-oh.
I always like to tell my little anecdotal stories. I won't change this week because every show so far I've told my little anecdotal story. Dr. Dre the Chronic came out, early 90s.
Oh yeah.
I grew up in a very urban area. I was super into grunge and alternative, but I was also into rap and stuff like that. So I asked my mom for it, and I of course couldn't buy it because that's explicit lyrics and all that stuff was slapped on the the cassettes. So she told my dad to take me to the mall and buy me that tape. So we go to the mall and buy that tape, and we're driving home. He's like, "Oh, what tape did you get, son?" He's like, "Here, we'll throw it in the tape deck." And he puts Dr. Dre the Chronic in the tape deck, and it plays for like the intro, like the first part of the intro is all that starts to play, and he like pops it out and looks at me like, "What the fuck did I just buy for you?" I was like, "No, but Dad, that's cool. That's the cool music right now." And he's like, "It's nothing but cussing." I was like, "Yeah, isn't it cool?"
Well, you talking about Dr. Dre, man, of course, Snoop Dogg.
No, yeah, that was when the California scene really blew up in the early
Mhm.
90s.
I'm not going to admit that I know who Tori Amos is, Chris, but
I do know who Tori Amos is. I like some of her music, actually.
I'm not going to admit to having any of that. But yeah, it's pretty good. Collective Soul, Sheryl Crow. Yeah.
MC Hammer.
Oh wow, yeah.
My sister
course.
had a pair of MC Hammer pants.
Boys to Men.
Wasn't the Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC too from the 90s?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all we're gonna say about that.
Alanis Morissette.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like me some Alanis Morissette. She did some good songs.
It's amazing when you dig into her, you come to find out she's actually a cousin to Madonna and to Hillary Clinton.
Really?
Yes.
That's a hell of a combination.
Yes. Doesn't look like either one. It's
Soul Asylum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Runaway Train.
Yeah.
Call you up in the middle of the night.
Oh, it was driving me nuts.
Yeah, that's a great band. I love Soul Asylum. Oh, Candy's throwing out the Spice Girls. I hate to admit it, but I had the Spice Girls tape.
No, you didn't.
Get off my
Yeah.
show.
I
Get
did.
off my show.
Yeah, I did.
You just lost your. You just.
Well, I gotta admit, I had one of them too because of one song on it. The name of the song is called Mama, and my mom loved that song, so I was kind of like, okay, I got to.
Okay, chat. I need to announce this. After hearing these last two statements from my co-panelist, we are now booting them off. This is becoming a stoner and a musician. Thank you for joining us.
Well, your mom
That's
and there
all
with the
right.
flex, man. That's cheap.
I didn't even try to. I didn't even try to deflect. I was just like, yeah, I'll admit I had a Spice Girls take.
That's just freaking cold, Mox. I told you why I had it, dude. Man, it had to do with my mom, dude. But
I understand.
I can't explain Anthony though.
Anthony can have anything he wants. He's a musician. He needs
Okay.
that kind of music just for educational purposes.
Okay.
To
all
show
right.
him what not to do.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Limp Bizkit, hell of a great band. I love Fred Durst. It was awesome what he managed to accomplish with that band after he left House of Pain.
I forgot,
Mhm.
Chris. I forgot about that. Alanis Morissette was on that Nickelodeon show. You can't do that on television. You remember that show where they slimed each other all the time?
Was Fred Durst in House of Pain? Because I
Yes, he
don't-
was. Fred Durst and the guy who became Everlast. Those were the two guys who actually started House of Pain.
I always
They ended
forget
up
that.
splitting ways.
And then he went and did like some
Yeah,
country sound. The other
Everlast.
guy, Everlast, yeah.
Yeah, he did the Whitey Ford Sings the Blues album, and then
Which was awesome.
and then Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit come out later that year, and they absolutely crushed everything he had done, and they just took a whole new genre, of their type of music at that time, and it was great.
See, I find that hard
Technically,
to
Park.
comprehend.
technically Linkin Park and Disturbed are both 90s bands because they came out in 98 and 99.
Yeah, Down with the Sickness was late 90s.
I actually saw those two bands, Fuel, who's another 90s band, was the headliner. It was, and at the time, Disturbed had only had Down with the Sickness out as a single. It was the only song anybody knew. And Linkin Park had just come out with Crawling. And then and up here in the New York area, there was a radio station called 92.3 K-Rock. And they used to have what they called the Lodo shows. And it was just like low dough, like, like cheap tickets, So they charged 92 cents plus like the fees and everything. The tickets came to $2.50. And I think I spent $11 on a round trip train ticket from Jersey into the city. And I went to go see these bands for like $13. And they at the time they were like some small little club in Manhattan. And I saw Linkin Park and Disturbed when they were like just coming out. Yeah, it was a good show.
Wow, that's impressive because David Draymond, I've studied a lot of what he did on Queen of the Damned soundtrack with John Davies, and it was amazing to watch as he went to a vocalist and learned how to do his type of singing and keep it, where it sounded good and he didn't break his voice for doing it. People don't always assume or understand how much work some of these guys really do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Hey, Thomas Gilkey.
I mean,
Thomas Gilkey stopping in the chat.
Hey, Tom. What you call it? Who did Vanilla Ice on Karaoke? Who did Ice Ice Baby?
Oh,
That would be Chris.
Yeah, Chris did.
Chris. Did you guys
Saturday.
speaking of Jonathan Davis, did you ever hear the hardcore version?
Oh, of Ice Ice Baby?
Oh yeah.
He produced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was too funny. That was like one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh, Hootie.
Marilyn Manson.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, Manson.
Manson has done amazing things with some of his covers.
Yeah. I love his cover of "I Put a Spell on You."
Mm-hmm.
Aren't Hootie and the Blowfish supposed to be getting back together?
I hadn't heard anything about
I
that.
think I read that somewhere that they're like trying to get the band back together or something.
Counting Crows.
Because Hootie or Darius Rucker, had went on to do kind of his own thing, and I want to say I read something a while back that maybe it's just like a one-time thing, but there's something about they're talking about getting the band back together.
Ooh, Wookie mentioned Ice-T's Body Count.
Oh yeah,
I saw and Blossoms.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
Wasn't that
wow.
Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. Was that Jim Blossoms?
No, that was the Spin Doctors.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Then there was the Verve and the Verve Pipe, which was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And Verve, I'm trying to remember, was the Verve that did the one hit wonder with Bittersweet Symphony. Was that?
Yep. Yep.
And I think the Verve Pipe was the one that did like, oh no,
Who did
Feel
that
this
song?
fucking love. She
The
fell
Freshman.
in
Oh
love.
yeah, Freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
song. Oh, Wookie White Zombie. I love Thunder Kiss 65. That was a great album.
Yeah, it was.
Well, the album with Thunder Kiss 65 on it.
Curtis, what's going on? Sympathetic. Oh wow, I can't read. Sorry for mispronouncing that. Welcome.
Hey, Curtis.
Glad you guys
Wazee,
can
hey,
make it.
Mama.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Mama.
can make it.
SOD thing will never happen. What's SOAD?
Do what?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Stormtroopers of Death. SOD. Oh wait a minute.
No.
Yeah.
SOAD. He has. I got to see SOD. AD.
System of a Down.
Oh, System of a Down. Holy shit! How did I not pick that up?
Yeah, I'm proud of myself. I'm high here.
Yeah, you figured it out before everybody else did.
Something wrong with that, guys. Come on.
That's
Hey, Comic Book Bob.
Well, hey, by defense, I had about
Hey,
6
Bob.
beers
Welcome to the
and
show,
three-
man.
and 3 shots. So, when I was at my buddy's house.
Sweet.
So,
Yeah, when you go back digging through the '90s, like in one band we have not mentioned yet, I'm surprised. Guns N'
And you-
Roses.
Oh yeah. But
Oh yeah, we were the same way when we talked 80s music. We talked, and then somebody's like, "What about Guns N' Roses?"
yeah, I
I mean,
guess
they
some-
weren't originally. I don't.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think I'm trying to think of bands that like started in the '90s. You know what I mean? So that's probably why.
Three Doors Down,
Somebody said that.
Nickelback.
Nickelback. Oh, was Nickelback '90s? I think they were. I think they came out in 2000. Or no, it might have been '99. It might have been '99.
I was never a big Nickelback fan, so I don't know.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm not a big fan of them. And they put on a good live show, though. I'll give them that much. Godsmack.
Yeah, Guns. Yeah, hell of a great band.
Incubus, yeah. I saw Incubus in New Orleans at BB King's.
Somebody we hadn't mentioned, Bush.
Mm.
Oh yeah, Bush.
Did you mention No Doubt?
That was mentioned in the chat a while back. I think it was Candy Cane. I think mentioned No Doubt a while back in the chat.
Speaking of one-hit wonders, you have Edwin McCain.
Yeah.
And who is that one guy? He had a one-hit wonder. It was like on every like '90s TV show. How'd it go? Everything will be all right. I'm not even gonna try to hit the notes because he goes pretty high.
Oh, I know the song you're talking about. I can't remember.
Rockabye. The name of the song is Rockabye. I can't think of the name of the guy.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
What the heck is that?
Yeah, I remember that. He also did an acoustic version of that. Trying to. They have it listed as Clean Bandit, but that is not who did that song that we're thinking about.
No, I know. Yeah,
Sean Mullins.
Yeah, Sean Mullins.
yeah, Sean Mullins.
Oh, the President of the United States, Peaches.
Peaches.
May not be as popular with this crowd, but I am a 90s kid. I was into rock, but I also delved into rap. So one of my favorite bands, rap bands, if you want to call them that, to come out of the 90s, the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
yeah. You gotta love Wu Tang.
Faith No More.
Yes. And Mr. Bungle. His other band, Mr. Bungle.
Mm. Wait a minute, Fallout Boy, or is that already mentioned?
Oh,
Did they start in the 90s?
I don't know.
I was thinking they were like a more recent thing.
Well, if not the 90s, it was early 2000s.
Yeah, they came out in 2001 out of Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Talking about a one-hit wonder, does anybody remember Crisscross?
Oh God.
Oh, wow.
Those two kids that wore all their clothes backwards.
Yeah.
Did that song Jump?
crisscross.
Yeah.
Jump, jump.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what's sad about it is we just said the name and all of us just heard the song in our head. Welcome back, Rambling Canuck.
oh yeah. They got a couple of really great songs.
Yeah. E6.
Oh, Weezer. I'm a big Weezer fan too.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Definitely a one-hit wonder, but I mean, who doesn't forget Walk on the Ocean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hatebreed, Slipknot. Somebody really likes hard metal. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
Wookiee is definitely the hard metal guru of every decade, it seems.
The only Christian rock band I can think of across genres was Jars of Clay. They had that song Flood.
Oh, yeah.
I can't swim after 40 days. It was like on every rock station in the 90s.
Godsmack.
Yeah. Johnny Lang, Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Mhm.
Yep.
Blues guitar players.
It's a shame you didn't hear more out of those guys mainstream on like
I know.
MTV because damn, they were good bands. They were great music.
Both first, especially when they both first came out, because they were like literally these like young teenage kids. I was so jealous, man. I was like in my 20s. I was like, these motherfuckers. Because they could rip guitar like nobody's business. And but everybody was pumping them up to be the next Stevie Ray Vaughan. They were like, who's gonna be the next Stevie Ray Vaughan? And I feel like by like the third or fourth album, I think Kenny Wayne took it because Johnny kind of like switched his band up, kind of went a little stuff, but yeah, the two of them, man, the two of them are awesome guitar players. I've seen them both live like over 10 times each.
Yeah, Cracker. That was a great band.
Another great 90s song, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back.
Yeah. The Divinyls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touch Myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that
what
song.
what was big like when the 90s first kicked in? Because there was still some didn't
Sinead O'Connor. She was kind of like early on in the
Yeah,
90s.
she was like Nothing Compares to You was like 1990.
Yeah, Ugly Kid Joe.
Oh, I forgot about Ugly Kid Joe. Yeah, he was good. He did Everything About You, right?
Yeah.
Wow, Candy Cane pulled one out. I forgot Shania Twain.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh, she late 80s. Shania Twain. She did a lot of country.
Yeah. No,
that don't impress me much.
no, I remember
The Humpty Dance.
She was 90s. The Humpty Dance
The
was the 80s.
Digital Underground.
Yeah, man.
The Humpty Dance was the 80s because I remember that being when I was in junior high, and yeah, junior high. I started high school in 90, so.
If you ever once got busy in a Burger King bathroom.
Yeah, that was 89 that come out.
My nose is big like a pickle.
You know, one of the other people that really kind of blew me away when she first hit the scene was Natalie Imbruglia. And she was the one who did Torn and Smoke. And then you start digging into her and find out she's actually an actress from Australia who had been, acting and stuff for years before she ever started a musical career.
Yeah, well, it's funny. If you actually and read her story, like you said, she's like the kind of actress that makes a record that we laugh at here in the States. You know what I mean? Like that's her story. She just her
Mhm.
music just hit it big over here, which is where you want to hit it big. But like, yeah, you know when you see like an actress, like a TV actress or something like that, who tries to make an album, and you're like, oh come on, you just the only reason why you're making an album is because you're famous. That's the only reason why.
A lot of people said the same thing about Jennifer Love Hewitt when she come out with her music in the 90s.
Yeah, hers was pretty good though.
Yeah, she actually had some pretty decent talent.
You know, somebody who when they came out in the 90s wasn't that good. Well, at least in my opinion, wasn't that good, but who later became good was Pink.
Oh yeah.
Pink's first couple of albums, were like that teeny pop stuff, but then Linda Perry of the Four Non Blondes, another 90s band.
Yes.
Oh, I love Four Non Blondes.
Yeah, she started producing her albums. That's why they started to have more of like a rock feel to them.
Didn't she marry Paul Simon or one of those other guys?
Bone Thugs and
Yeah, Bad
Harmony.
Religion. That was a band that pulled a hell of a lot of great players into it.
Yeah.
What about Queensryche?
80s.
Hmm?
Queensryche is the 80s.
You have to forgive me, Anthony. We are stoners. We're still stuck in the wrong day.
Well, no, the first time I ever heard Queensryche was 91, 92, something like that. So I was assuming that's when it came out.
Well, if you're talking about Silent Lucidity, that album, yeah, came out in the 90s.
Yeah, Empire, Silent Lucidity, Jet City Woman.
They always struck me as like a Rush knockoff, kind of.
Yeah, they had a similar progressive sound. They were just really good at like doing like contemporary. I mean, you had another band like that came out of like the birth of the like rebirth from the 80s, but came out in the 90s, like Dream Theater. That was another progressive rock band. The early 90s had
Yeah.
progressive
Wow,
rock sounds.
I didn't know you knew. Well, I don't know why I would be surprised you're a musician that you would know Dream Theater, but yeah, they're a hell of a great progressive band. I love that song Home that they do.
Yeah. What was that one song?
Oh, the Crash Test Dummies. Mm-hmm.
That song drives me up a wall. That's the laziest shit I've ever heard.
They were one-hit wonders. I mean, that's the only song of theirs I ever remember hearing.
Yeah.
Mox, I think, could pull that off on karaoke. He has that deep voice. Once
there was this girl who.
I tell you what, y'all might get me stoned enough one night. I might actually sing off air for y'all, let you know how bad I really am.
Oh, Wookie's talking about Too Short. I like me some Too Short. That was another album I had in the 90s that I play all the way through. Ain't nothing like pimping, just let it roll. I'm not going to say the rest because it would get pretty vulgar.
Tony.
Yeah, there was a lot of R&B band, like TLC. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, think of how many hit songs TLC had in the 90s.
Oh man, this Canadian rapper named Snow.
Oh, Informer.
Yeah.
How about Gerardo?
Oh God, Rico
Suave.
Rico Suave. Ole.
Oh man,
that's definitely pulling out.
I can't remember. Did God, what was her name? She sung 4-Leaf Clover. It was like the only song anybody ever heard out of her. I think she was early.
4-Leaf Clover.
Hang on,
Yeah.
I'm looking it up now. You got me because I've heard that song.
The title.
Oh, dude.
I just can't think of.
Abra Moore.
No, didn't Joan Jett do a cover of that?
Well, if she did, I was thinking more of the '90s version by Evermore. But she could have. She did a couple of covers of some good stuff too.
It seems like that's been covered by a lot of people. If you Google,
Are you thinking that or Crimson and Clover?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
'Cause that's actually that goes back to
It's a cover,
oh
yeah.
god. Yeah,
Come
that
on,
was
Mox.
Fleetwood Mac.
Come on,
no.
Mox.
No.
I'm high.
Clover, it was chick that was
Okay, wait a minute.
Faith No
Okay.
More. Good call.
oh yeah, Faith No More was good.
Yeah.
I thought I already mentioned that, but yeah, still a good call.
I think Anthony's froze up.
Yeah, I think so. He's had a hell of a time today with internet connection. It seems, or StreamYards won. I would
I'll
get StreamYards because that's kind of the same issue a few people had last week on the East Coast.
Yeah, now he's weirdly disappeared, but not disappeared.
Yes, for a small fee of $9.99, we will frame this picture of our musician frozen solid for you to keep at home. We'll even fake sign it for him. How about that, folks? You can't beat it for $9.99.
And if you act now, we'll send you 2 Sham Wows.
I'll tell you a song that everybody remembers from 1990. D-Light, Groove is in the Heart.
I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
song. I love that song. That's not a bad ride out either.
Metallica, Enter Sandman.
Mhm.
That's a classic.
I got one that we hadn't really talked about. It's a one-hit wonder, of course, but none other than Lou Bega and Mambo Number 5.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
super. That's a super one-hit wonder. Anthony's back, I think.
let's see if that works.
Okay, we can hear you this time, so that's good.
All right. Yeah, let's see if it works. Anybody mention L7?
No, we haven't said that yet.
No.
Cowboy Junkies.
I'll tell you another party song that everybody will remember from the 90s. Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's like one of those get pumped up to go out on a Saturday night kind of songs.
UB40.
Red wine. I remember that.
I don't know if that was 80s or 90s. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was like right there.
Honorable Lonely Heart. That was the band, yes, and you're correct, Curtis. That was 80s. Great band, though. Great song.
Winger.
All right, have a good time editing, and I appreciate you coming in, stopping by, Chris, and giving us a listen.
Yeah, Chris,
Yeah,
man,
Chris.
much appreciated. Have a good night.
Take it easy, Chris. Good to see you, man.
I'll tell you somebody that unfortunately came out in the 90s.
Unfortunately, oh, this
Yeah.
ought to be good.
Hanson. Bop.
God.
Have you seen that they're grown up and they started like their own microbrew called Hop?
Oh
I
my God.
shit you not about that. They may not still be making it, but at one point, the Hanson brothers started like a little beer thing or had a beer company make it, and it was called Hop. And it was Hanson beer.
Was it as bad as their music?
I never tried it, so I don't know. I'm just guessing it probably was.
Yeah.
That's probably a pretty safe guess.
Yeah. It was probably a blonde ale at that.
Wonderwall. Wonderwall was.
What about
Oasis.
Kid Rock?
Kid
Oh,
Rock.
Oasis. I loved Oasis.
Yeah,
Kid
the two.
Rock, I think it's a '90s band. Yeah.
I think somebody told me that one of the brothers from Oasis is actually trying to go around tour now without the other brother or something.
Oh,
Yeah, they
hated
kind of
him.
split up. Yeah, they didn't get along very well.
Yeah, Chili Peppers. I think we spoke about them, Bob. But yeah, Under the Bridge, that was one of my favorite songs.
Was that 80s or 90s? because I like that song. Pass the Dutchie or whatever. Dutchie
Yeah, that's
by
the
Musical
80s.
Youth. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the 80s.
because remember it was in that song this movie Wedding Singer. That is a good song though. I think it's a funny song.
Yes, Beck's Loser was in the 90s.
Oh, I liked Beck. That was a good album.
Mhm.
Well, how about the one that everybody in this room, regardless of age, knows that come out of the 90s? It's called Bad Boys by Inner Circle.
Oh, it's
Wait,
it's funny you said that because I may or may not have sung that on a pre-recorded karaoke
Oh,
today.
well, I guess we'll only know in about 6 days.
and it was like
It was
the
the
opening theme to Cops.
well, yeah, it was the second pre-record, so it may be longer than that.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess it'll be the last one she posts while she's gone.
Guys are calling out cake in the chat. I don't think they mean they're hungry for cake. I'm assuming.
Oh, I like cake. Oh, I mean, I like cake and I like cake. That's
Yeah,
kinda
Green
goes,
Day.
kind of goes both. Oh, Green Day, yeah.
Corrosion of Conformity.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Inner Circle with Ziggy Marley. That'd have been a cool show. Wookie. We thought Wookie was only into super hardcore metal.
He's got a softer side, apparently.
There's a softer reggae side to Wookie.
You know, one of the songs that come out, it was one hit wonder back then, was Meredith Brooks singing "I'm a Bitch."
Oh,
yeah.
that was a good one.
Yeah.
Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah.
She had a couple
True.
of good tunes back then.
True.
And we used to cover. I used to have a chick that sang with us, and she used to do Melissa Etheridge pretty good.
Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah, we hadn't really been saying much about country, but yeah, there was some good country to come out in the 90s too.
Well, I only mentioned her because, Melissa Etheridge, they had the little bit I heard similar sounding music.
Who was the blonde country singer? Contemporary. Faith Hill?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't she married
Tim
Tim
McGraw.
McGraw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the Senate in the house. What's up, bro?
Hey, Senate,
Hey.
welcome to the show.
Oh, here's one that everybody will remember. It was a one-hit wonder that I thought was actually a good song.
Uh-oh.
Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good tune.
Suzanne Vega.
You didn't like that
Bob's
song?
Diner.
You didn't like
Yeah.
that, Anthony?
I think Anthony is laughing at our musical selection there.
No. I don't know about on your end, but on my end, it keeps cutting out. Sometimes I can't hear what you I'll miss the end of a sentence. So.
Yeah, you're cutting a little bit in and out on my end too.
All right, I'm gonna jump out and restart my browser, and then jump back in.
Okay.
Sorry.
See you in a minute.
I forget who all was in the Traveling Wilburys, Son of a Red Shirt, but my dad loved the Traveling Wilburys and had their albums and stuff. I forget now who all was in it.
A lot of really famous country singers, I think.
Yeah, he's talking about George Harrison, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, and who else? We'll have to ask Mr. Google about that.
Well, I will answer that for you in just about 30 seconds. English American supergroup consisting of Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, and Tom Petty.
Yeah,
Nice.
they put out a good album. I said my dad was super into the Traveling Wilburys.
Marcy's Playground, Sex and Candy.
Oh, how have we not thought about that?
Yeah.
That's a great song. Sex and Candy.
Oh, God.
Or Garth Brooks, I Got Friends in Low Places.
Yeah.
Yes, that's I like Garth Brooks and stuff, but that 90s is when I kind of started getting out of country music. Some of the earlier 90s stuff, like Garth Brooks and stuff, was pretty good, but it started to get too poppy towards the end for me. Chris is still here. He said he's lurking, but he's still in the chat.
You know, talking of super groups, it was an 80s band. But speaking of like major groups with a lot of firepower in them, the Highwaymen. I know they're 80s.
Oh, I still love the Highwayman. What was the song Highwaymen by then, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah.
I was a highwayman. On the coach road I did ride. Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah. It's really great bands back then, you know, especially when you had like those super artists come together and produce something. Like it was just on a whole different level than anything else out there. And even today when you have something like that happen.
Hey, Chris, I know you said you're lurking, you had work to do, but I know you're a super big music guy. If you have a minute, want to jump on, I'll send you a link. If not, that's cool. Just the offers out there. Since I know you're super into music and a DJ and all that stuff. You should know this topic, Senate. All the California rap, Tupac, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg that came out of California in the 90s.
Line dancing wants to make me commit suicide.
Well, yeah, I would say homicide or suicide. I agree about the whole line dancing thing.
Yes, as a Southerner, I disavow line dancing.
Yeah, that had to have been invented by somebody up north.
Yes, that was not us.
No offense, Anthony.
Besides the fact that most Southerners, when we go to dance clubs, we're too damn drunk to stand in a line anyway.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You guys
Let alone remember all the
try
steps.
to pass the buck on line dancing to the north.
We don't have anywhere else to pass it to.
We're in the South.
That's just it.
Okay, we'll
Ain't
blame it on
nobody
the West
buying it.
Coast. How about that?
All right, there you go. I'll take that.
We'll blame it on the West Coast, and we'll say they did it just as propaganda to slander the South there.
There we go.
Oh, Outcast. I love me some Outcast. Being a Georgia boy, I love me some Outcast.
Yeah, one of their members actually is from Georgia, as I remember.
Well, they started in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, Limp Bizkit is from where I live. From Jacksonville.
Oh, Russ, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Billy Ray Cyrus spawned the Antichrist.
Miley. Yeah, we can throw that out there, y'all. Hannah Montana. No, fuck that shit.
I totally agree with you, Rambling Canuck. New country is not as good anymore. I agree.
It's starting to classify itself from what I've heard now. Not all of it is. They're trying to go back to that good old fashioned Southern rock sound.
It's either that or it's poppy as hell. You know, a lot of the new country to me is just pop music.
With a twang.
Yeah, and some boots.
I hate to admit this, but one hit wonders of the 90s, somebody we haven't mentioned, everyone else knows. Hey, Macarena.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
I did not own that song or album either, so I keep my man card.
I bet Anthony
Me
wishes
neither.
being involved in like the business he is. I bet Anthony wishes he had $1 for every time at a wedding he saw somebody do the Macarena.
Thankfully, that song's actually been kind of phased out a little bit, but yeah, for the longest time, that would be the Macarena. Oh God.
It's kind of funny that people at a wedding would want to hear that, considering what that song actually means.
Yeah.
For anybody that don't know, it's about a girl cheating on somebody. On a lot of somebodies.
Hey, Macarena.
I think it's kind of been replaced by the Casper or the Cupid Shuffle or whatever. I think has replaced the Macarena for stupid party songs.
No, Gangnam Style.
Oh yeah.
You know, one of the other kind of like it definitely wasn't rap, but it was more like techno jam, was by Tektronic and Pump Up the Jam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you had what Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, weren't they 90s?
Yep. Mark Wahlberg.
CNC Music Factory.
Snap. The guy who did I Got the Power.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like almost one hit wonder, like almost electronic music that just had like a catchy verse to it, catchy chorus.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of that.
Duncan Sheik, Barely Breathing. That was a really big jam back then.
Yes. I've forgotten all about that song.
I don't know if I know that one actually. I'd have to look that one up. Of course, I have a horrible memory. I'm not one of the stoners, and I have a horrible memory.
Yeah, Duncan Sheik only put out like one, maybe two songs anybody really knew. And that was kind of like the more popular of the two songs.
Well, yeah. Hell yeah. Depeche Mode. The Cure. New Order. Wait a minute. No. Yeah, New Order. 311.
I'm not sure if 311 come out in the late 80s or 90s.
Here's a one-hit wonder. K7, Come Baby, Come Baby.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Come,
yes.
baby, come, baby, baby, come, come.
What about the Escape Club?
If you want to give me love, then you gotta give me some.
The Wild West.
Yeah. LA Guns did a really kick-ass song back in the 90s, The Ballad of Jane.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Yeah, they were a really good band. They really didn't get enough credit for, their skill set.
Half the band of them were the original Guns N' Roses. When the Guns N' Roses first got together, it was Tracy Guns, Axl Rose. That's actually how they came up with the name, Guns N' Roses. But it was Tracy Guns, Axl Rose. I don't know if Duff was in there. Slash wasn't. The guitar player from LA Guns was the other guitar player.
Hey, Han, highlight that red shirt, man. That's freaking hilarious.
Here's one that everybody.
The Macarena, thanks for impregnating my ear hole with promiscuous earworm. I'm here, or pernicious earworm. I came here to get nostalgia, not brain cancer.
A song that is still kind of really popular, it's used a lot in stadium stuff now, is by Tag Team, Whoop, There It Is.
Oh, I have that. I have a playlist of like a lot of the 90s stuff and like early 2000s stuff, and Whoop, There It Is on that playlist.
Damn Skippy.
Nothing but a G thing. Whoop, There It Is. You had, what was it? Daisy Dukes. Was that the 90s?
Oh my God.
And Donkey had Donkey Butt, Daisy Dukes. There was a lot of those kind of crazy party songs.
Look at
like
them
Whoop,
donkey
There It
butts,
Is.
them big old legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew all that shit.
There was another song that came out, one hit wonder back then. It's not only a great song, but it describes me perfectly. I'm too sexy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anybody in the world, if you started singing that song, they know it.
Drop Dead Fred.
Right, said Fred. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Son of a Red Shirt heard me at Karaoke Saturday night because Barbie Girl Han Star, you know that one well. Yes, in fact, I do, Son of a Red Shirt, because I kind of pulled that one out of my ass and sang it at karaoke Saturday night.
I really don't think we're going to hear Anthony playing that anytime soon.
Ah, come on, Anthony. I'll do the Barbie parts if you'll do the Ken parts.
Barbie,
It'd be like a duet.
Oh my God.
I don't think we pay him enough to do it, Han.
It'd take a lot of ramen to get him to do that.
Hold on. We getting paid for this shit?
Well, you're not,
Yeah,
but we are.
your check's in the mail.
Oh, fuck off.
Just don't try to cash it.
That's
But if
just
you-
raw.
If you do want to play basketball, it's really good for that, I promise.
Oh, dear God.
The thong song, I want to sex you up.
I'm
Son of a
blue,
Red Shirt pulled out a
da-da-dee-da.
few good ones there.
Who the fuck was that?
I want
Did
to say
blue? Curtis.
Every time that song, I'm blue, da ba dee da da.
Yeah, some bullshit like that. Who the fuck was that?
Have we even mentioned Tonic yet?
Oh, Ace of Base.
And Tonic. Hell yeah, dude. I love Tonic.
I'm surprised I
Yeah,
didn't
Ace of
mention
Base
it.
come out early in the 90s.
Yeah.
We did mention Crash Test Dummies, Son of a Red Shirt.
Yeah, I remember Tonic at around 96, 97 put out If You Could Only See.
Mm-hmm.
And they put out like one or two other songs right around that off that same album. Some of the best music, like at the end of the 90s, right there, came out of those guys.
Yeah, the one I forget the name of it, but the one that I'm thinking of had who was the chick in the video? I had a famous actress in the video. I think it was Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Have we already talked about Big Mountain?
You know, another band that came out with a real famous girl in their video was The Flies. And they actually pulled Katie, oh God, what is her name? She's just recently married the actor he played Ray.
Katy Perry?
No, not Katy Perry. It's not Kate Moss. Everybody will know her as soon as I say the name. But it was one of the first things that she did to actually get her face out there. I cannot remember the actor's name. This shows I'm either getting older or I smoke way too much weed.
Or
Oh,
both.
420.
Or both.
Hell,
Or both.
420.
Yeah.
What about
She married Jamie Foxx here recently.
what was that?
He married the girl that was in the video with the Flies when they came out with their first video, and the whole video is this one attractive girl just walking through the whole video set, and that was the same girl who married Jamie Foxx here recently. I can't remember her name.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah, Katie Holmes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was once married to Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Anthony, the Senate's saying he can barely hear you. I think your volume might still be a little down.
Is it better now?
Is to me.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good on my end.
Yes, Senate, you ought to tune in every weekend that she does that, because actually, they have some great musicians, great songs. Yeah,
And
definitely can't lose out on that show.
and a wide array of songs. And hey, I may pull out 2 Live Crew or Barbie Girl if I'm there. You never know.
Dude, you got to do stroking again.
Oh yeah, the first one I was on, I did do Clarence Carter Stroking.
I don't know if you guys heard me because I guess my mic or whatever, but did you guys mention Filter?
No, we didn't.
Oh,
Nope. What about Fear Factory?
Filter is still putting out some music here recently, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if they've done it in a well. They might be. I know they took a hiatus, like in the like around 05, 06. I mean, I guess they could be doing something now.
But they're definitely putting out a 20th anniversary expanded edition of some of their stuff now.
We mentioned Jonathan Davis. Did anybody actually mention Korn?
No, I hate to admit it, we didn't.
Even though Jonathan Davis was mentioned, we didn't mention Corn.
Yeah, Filter is still touring. They
Cool.
just did a thing August 3rd in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and in March they had done something in El Paso, Texas.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Interesting.
Power Man 5000. Yes, I remember one song by them. They were a pretty good band.
Oh, why can't I think of the name of the band? Space Lord, Mother.
Mother. Oh,
Dun, 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 dun.
We were just looking at that last night. On
Monster Magnet.
yeah, I was gonna say on
Monster
another stream we were playing that last night on a different stream I was on.
Yeah, they definitely got some couple of good tracks on there.
I know we've already talked about White Zombie, but the intro to Thunder Kiss 65, just when you hear the
Yep.
You know, a band is really a one-hit wonder that really kicked ass in the 90s. Somebody you still hear today is the band Seven Mary 3.
Oh, I forgot about them.
They did that one song that everybody knows, Cumbersome.
Oh, yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah.
It's funny how my brain works because if you just said Seven Mary 3, I'm like, okay, Seven Mary 3. But then you say Cumbersome, I'm like, oh man, that's an
No.
awesome song.
Damn right.
Apparently, I have been corrected by one of the authorities in our chat, by Candy Cane. She broke off the information for me that The Flies Got You Where I Want You was from the movie Disturbing Behavior, and that Katie was actually in that movie, which I never watched the movie.
I think you've been put on blast, Mox. Need to get your shit together.
Yeah. Look, just for a disclaimer, chat, I am a stoner. Don't expect much because you ain't getting it. It's the mod's night off.
I'm the drunk. Sith is a stoner, and Mox is a stoner, and Anthony's a musician that claims both camps.
Yes, we're just happy he would hang out with us because, well, we're stoners and a drunk. So,
Well, I'm happy that you guys had me here, so I appreciate it.
We
always.
must have, with the chat rolling, we must have missed your comment, Wookie. I'm sorry. He said Seven Mary 3 an hour ago.
Oh, hey, sorry, Wookie. I'm actually like 3 places, man. I'm not just here and just in the panel, too. I missed you, dude. Sorry.
Motorhead.
They're more out of
Wow.
the 70s, though, aren't they?
Well, yeah, just Wookie mentioned it. Let's see. Born
Great
to Raise
band.
Hell. Yeah, Born to Raise Hell from the Airhead soundtrack.
That song, yeah, that is a 90s song. That is a 90s song.
So I don't know if that statement makes sense or not. Is there any classic rock that was amazing in the 90s? Because to me, it's not. To me, classic rock is still like 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
But Sennett's 16, so to him, I guess stuff from the 90s could be classic rock.
I guess that would.
Yes, that was around the time that we were still beating off dinosaurs with clubs so that we could actually get to the club.
I'm glad you said with clubs because you just started with beating off dinosaurs. I kind of got worried there for a minute.
Oh my God.
No, I never beat off a dinosaur. I assure you. Not my repertoire.
But the T-Rex need help. It had them little bitty short arms.
People think that T-Rexes couldn't clap with those little hands because their arms were so short, but in reality, it's because they're all dead.
They all committed suicide because the song "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands" actually came out during the time of the dinosaurs,
which was the 90s. So,
yes, right around 92 is when the wheel was invented. So,
I'm telling you, it was a hard knock life before then, folks.
Yeah.
If
only you knew, Senate. When I was in high school in the 90s, I thought I was cool as shit because I had a pager.
Yes.
You probably have an iPhone. I had a pager and a pocket full of quarters and thought I was the shit.
Yeah. Just hang out at the local 7-Eleven by
Yeah.
the payphone all day.
You had little pager codes. You know, your friends would page you codes, and
911. It was an emergency.
oh yeah, people would randomly send you like the calculator jokes where you turned it and it said like boobs or
Or you know,
Hey,
if you had-
Moira.
if you had
Welcome
a-
to the show.
Hey, Maura.
Oh, my chat didn't roll up. Hey, Mora.
Hey, Mark.
Meow.
The son of a red shirt pulled a going out too. Butthole Surfers.
Oh yeah, the butthole
Yeah.
surfers.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
Pepper was the song.
Static X. Did anybody mention Static X?
Wayne Static, yes sir. Great
Mm.
musician. He too was also on the Queen of the Dam soundtrack where Jonathan Davies did backups,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the better songs on that album.
Yeah, which one was that? That was
Oh man,
Cold, right?
yeah, I think so.
Cold, so cold, we are. I love that soundtrack. That's one of my favorite soundtracks.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I can recite the entire movie from memory.
Speaking of
That's
good 90s soundtracks, I'm going to pull it up now and just see who's on it. The Crow.
The movie The Crow, was that out of the 90s?
That was 94, I believe. Yeah, 94.
That was an awesome soundtrack.
I know. That's what I'm looking up now.
Yeah, that was an awesome soundtrack. Yeah.
The soundtrack to the second movie was also very very good. I would even say it was better than the soundtrack to the first one, even though the movie wasn't as good.
Yeah, I didn't care for City of Angels.
But the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a song on there by Linda Perry from Four Non Blonde and Grace Slick.
wow.
They do a duet, and it's called "Knock Me Out," and it gives me chills every time I listen to it. Their voices together are just haunting, to say the least. Violent Femmes. Anybody bring up the Violent Femmes?
No, we hadn't talked about them.
Rollins Band,
Oh,
Helmet.
POD.
Oh,
Yeah.
POD, MOD.
Yeah, you were correct. That is Wayne Static that did Cold on Queen of the Dam soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a good tune.
I think Senate. I think Senate thinks the name Butthole Surfers is pretty funny. It is a funny band name.
One of the other songs that he did on there, and I forgot about this till I just opened up the track list, and was Not Meant for Me with him and Jonathan Davies.
Oh, wow.
And that was a really good jam off that soundtrack. I mean, the whole soundtrack is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like the first 5 songs. The first 5 songs on that soundtrack. They could have just released that as an EP and it would have made just as much money.
Yeah.
Wookie's saying the refreshments. Have we talked about the refreshments yet?
No.
I got a
Popcorn and
Coke.
soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a Coke. So
I had cottonmouth and munchies. I had to get refreshments.
I got a bourbon.
I got a
Oh.
Star Crunch staring me in the face.
Oh, Primus. Winona had a big brown beaver and she stroked it all the time. Primus is great.
Here's something I have to ask you, Anthony, because maybe you can clear this up because I have always been confused by this.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie Queen of the Damned, there's one small excerpt. They walk into the bar. There's a band playing. It's the actual people that played the music for it. The song was called Excess. The band was Tricky, and the song was called Excess. And they always list the track as Alanis Morissette did that. But the more I looked into it, it was like an industrial band out of like Australia. And apparently like she only did like the background in that or something.
Yeah. She got obviously after, because let's see, when did that come out? That came out in 98, right? 99?
The movie was released in 2002. Well, the motion picture soundtrack was released 2002.
The soundtrack was released, but the movie was.
It was also released March of 2002.
I said it's a 2000 song. But yeah, probably just because she was famous and she did something on it that she gets a lot of notoriety for it. That happens a lot. That happens a real lot, actually.
I know one I don't think we've talked about yet that everybody knows if they watched TV. The Friends theme, the Rembrandts All Be There For You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The theme song to Friends that people probably think is just the theme song to Friends.
No, it was actually a lot of TV shows in the 90s had actual songs as their theme song. Sanders,
Yeah.
shut up, buddy, shut up.
But what were some of your? I mean, I know you mentioned one, but what are some of your favorite bands from the '90s, Anthony? I mean, who would, if you had to pull out an album, and you could pick three, who would be your top three albums, top three bands that you would listen to now from the '90s?
From the 90s, well, Type O Negative, obviously. Alice in Chains. Third one would be Rough. Because those are my top two. You know, those are like my go-to 90s bands. Yeah, Type O Negative, Alice in Chains, and actually, I might catch flack for this, especially from Wookie. Matchbox 20.
Good band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob Thomas can sing his ass off. That dude has got a hell of a voice.
Yeah. I like his style too. He has a very unorthodox style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a band that I don't think any of us have even mentioned is Creed.
I think we're trying to avoid it.
Oh, you don't like Creed?
No.
I may or may not have recorded a Creed song for
I mean, I kind of liked Creed, but it was one of those things that just got played to death because back then, people were still actually listening to the radio, and Creed was played like every other song. It seemed like where it was just driven into your brain to where you hated to even hear it come on.
Well, let's put it this way: without Creed, we wouldn't have Alter Bridge, which means we wouldn't have Slash and Miles Kennedy. So,
Alter Bridge was a great band too.
Because Creed got rid of Scott Stapp, they became Alter Bridge and got Miles Kennedy, and then Miles Kennedy went on tour with Slash for like 4 years. So a lot of good music came out of that band. Yeah.
And now Slash is with Mother Love Bone, I think.
Is he playing with Mother Love Bone? Really?
I know he excuse me, he went to the band that did 45 and oh wow.
Oh, you're thinking of and I'm staring down the bullet of a 45.
Yeah, Velvet Revolver is who we went to through 2002 to 2012.
Right. Yeah, that was him and Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots with the rest of Guns N' Roses. That was basically the original Guns N' Roses. Well, most of the original Guns N' Roses lineup with Scott Weiland was Velvet Revolver.
Stained.
Yeah, but is Stained? I feel like Stained is a 2000s band.
Black Hole Sun, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Soundgarden.
Wow, amazingly, Slash went back to GNR in 2016, which I didn't know. I didn't know he was going out with them.
Oh yeah, they did the Not in This Lifetime tour because for years both him and Axl said they would never be on stage together ever. So when they finally did it, when they finally got the reunion tour together, they called it the Not in This Lifetime tour. I actually went. It was a good show. I had to. I had missed them. The one time I should have seen them was when they were on tour with Metallica, and like they alternated opening. Like one show, Guns N' Roses would open and Metallica would close, and then the next show, Metallica would open. And the show that I went to, Metallica opened, and then we waited like 2 hours for Guns N' Roses to come on. He comes on, somebody throws a lighter at him, and he runs off stage. And I was like, You son of a
Was-
bitch.
Wasn't it Guns N' Roses for a while that had that dude that had like the chicken bucket on his head?
Oh yeah, Buckethead. That
Yeah,
was his name,
Buckethead. He had like a big ass KFC bucket on his head.
He always had a different thing on his head. Yeah. I think he was from wasn't he from Limp Bizkit originally?
That I don't know.
Yeah, you've got me on that one. Now, Wiki pulled a great one out, and it's a combination of two different bands came together, and it was a tribute to one of their friends that had died. Was Temple of the Dog.
Yeah. Then that was the singer of Mother Love Bone. That's why when you said Mother Love Bone, I was like, what? I was like, a Mother Love Bone getting back together. Oh, okay, here's one. And if you want to do another combination of bands, Mad Season with Lane Staley from on vocals and the dude from Pearl Jam on guitar. They had the songs. I can't remember the name of their songs, but you would know them. Mad Season.
Well, instead of Dead Air, I'll tell you my 3 '90s albums if I was going to go to a desert. Well, not exactly albums, but I would pick a Nirvana album. Probably Dr. Dre, The Chronic. And the last one, like Anthony said, the last one would be hard. I would probably go with something like Oasis. I really liked that album.
I think if I was to go with 3, I'd definitely have to go with like Alice in Chains in there.
Yeah.
9 Inch Nails, just because I love a couple of their jams pretty hard. The third one, oh God, that's a hard call. I mean, you've got Nirvana, the Pumpkins, Pearl Jam, YouTube, Soundgarden, Metallica.
Can one of our selections be now? That's what I call '90s. One of those compilations.
Yeah, we'll just pick the whole album. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
This is the song from Mad Season, and when I play it, you guys will. I don't know. River of Deceit.
Yeah.
Love that song.
My pain, it's self-chosen. At least, so
Sad that we don't have him around anymore, man.
It is.
Nobody sings like him.
Yeah, when you're talking about Mad Season, the band there, Mike McCready was Pearl Jam's guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had Lane Staley of Alice in Chains and Barrett Martin of Screaming Trees and John Baker Saunders. And yeah, that was a hell of a band.
Yeah. I love the song I Don't Know Anything. It's I Don't Know Anything.
Mhm.
That song was killer.
I'm not sure. Well, Pixies were in the 80s, so I can't throw them out there.
They might be giants.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go figure that song out next. I'm surprised I haven't yet. I don't even know what the hell I'm thinking.
Stone Temple Pilots. Have we talked about them yet?
Somebody mentioned them.
Yeah, I mentioned them earlier on, but ain't no biggie. It's still a great band.
I mean, STP has so many great songs. It's kind of hard not to mention them. Yeah, Man in the Box, Rooster. I mean, hell of a band. Yeah,
No, you just you just named Alice in Chains songs.
man, I'm a pothead. Yeah,
There's a reason it's called Two Stoners and a Drunk.
Both great songs, though. By the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah, just
Excellent.
wrong band because Hell 420.
Hell
Well, here's the
420.
thing: when it comes to Stone Temple Pilots, like what form of Stone Temple Pilots are you a fan of? Because the first album, if you took all their albums, the first album is completely different than the rest of their albums. Like the first album is like his voice is like real grungy and raspy, and it's like really hard rocking and driven. And then second album still kind of got a little bit of that, but it gets a little softer. And then like the third album on is when they got a little more. And I'm not saying they were bad. I'm just saying they got a little more artistic. And I know a lot of people who are like, I only listen to the first album and that's it. And I know people who listen to all their albums. So
I think that's the great thing about them, and a lot of these other bands, as they progressed in albums and experience, you start to see their music change and evolve into something new creatively.
well,
And
the thing, it was so drastic with them that they actually caught a lot of flack. A lot of people said that they did their first album was like a sellout album, like they were riding the grunge wave to get popular, and then once they were popular, they just made the music they really wanted to make. I don't know if that's true, but that was a lot of flack that people were giving them. They were like, "You're not really grunge. You only did the one album." All right, if that's what you want to say, I guess.
I would be hard pressed to throw them under a bus at any point. I mean, they came out with Plush. They had Interstate Love Song, The Big Empty, Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart. Given the later stuff to me, it wasn't quite as edgy, but it really was. I mean, great songs that they put out.
I like them all. So I mean, I'm of the mind that I like all. I shouldn't say all their songs, but I like all their albums. I like songs on all their albums. You know what I mean?
I just thought of a one-hit wonder of a song I still love. Lynn, "Steal My Sunshine."
Oh my god, I remember the title. Why can't I think of the song?
They were a
Oh,
Canadian.
I love that song.
They're a Canadian band, I
actual-
think.
They filmed the video to it on vacation down in Daytona Beach.
Oh,
If-
God, I remember that song.
Danzig.
Danzig.
That was like '89, wasn't
Yeah, it was 89 or 90. He's close, yeah. Because he was coming off the Misfits.
Good band nonetheless.
A Tout Le Monde. Yeah, it's a good album.
I'm not sure
Dave
if it was,
Matthews Band. Sorry.
Yeah, Dave Matthews Band.
yeah,
Absolutely.
they're still actually torn a little bit, amazingly. Yeah, Wookie Lives Matter nailed another one, Chevelle.
Oh,
That was
geez.
90s?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just put out something here not too long ago, I think. Or I might be thinking about another band.
No, it's Chevelle. Damn it. I got the song around the tip of my tongue. It's on my playlist.
What?
Damn it.
Yeah, Hats Off to the Bull. That was one of their latest ones. And they had Send the Pain Down Below. That was one of the more recent ones, too. A lot of people know them for the song The Clincher, though.
Wookie, in a Tout Le Monde, who's the chick that's singing with him? Because that band's from the 90s. The Italian metal band. The hell is the name of that band?
When I pull that up, I get
Um,
Megadeth.
It's a Megadeth song, but he has this chick sings on it with him, and she's from a band, and they're from Italy, and they're a really kick-ass hard. I don't know if you want to call them metal, but they're definitely like super hard. I'll find it.
Mox, that song is Face of the Floor
What
by
song?
Chevelle. By Chevelle.
Oh. Yes, Red Shirt. I remember Eddie Burkell and the New Bohemians.
What's
Oh, wow.
I remember the name. What song did they do?
Oh,
What's up?
No, that's
That was
Non-
Four Non Blondes.
Yeah. I'm not aware of too many things, but I know what
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah.
I think she was married to Paul Simon at one point, or somebody in the music industry is what kind of got her out there, I think.
Christina Scaba from Lacuna Coil.
Mm.
And if you don't know who Lacuna Coil is, you should definitely go check out Lacuna Coil. Number one, she's hot. So she can sing, and the music is really good. It's got a hint of like 80s and like early like 90s rock, but like with that like later 90s edgier guitars and sounds and stuff. Yeah, definitely go check out Lacuna Coil if you've never heard of them.
Wookie's going back heavy again.
Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse, OTEP. Yes. Love OTEP.
So that's more in Anthony's genre. I was never into the really heavy stuff.
Well, here's one that Wookie would know. I would hope he would know. Opeth. They're like a progressive Europe. They're from Europe. I said they. It's one dude. Very progressive, heavy stuff. But they have like this one album that's like all acoustic. It's like drums. It's a full band, but no electric, no distorted guitars. It's very acoustic driven. And that's actually my favorite one from them. But Opeth, yeah, and OTEP is good. If you want to get Scandinavian black metal, you got Moonspell, which is an awesome band. You don't like Opeth? Be gone with you. No, I'm only kidding.
It's funny. We've talked several times about Four Non Blondes and what's going on. Last time I was in Key West, I randomly went in a bar one afternoon, and the afternoon singer is never like the best, the person that gets the day shift. And there was like this hot white chick with dreads just sitting there with an acoustic taking requests, and I requested that song, and I wish I had recorded it because she blew what's going on away on acoustic, just singing it by herself. It was awesome.
I don't know if we mentioned them or not, but the Counting Crows.
I think we may have mentioned them in passing, but yeah, they were big in the '90s. They did. They had a bunch of hits with Mr. Jones, and there was quite a few.
Yeah, as I remember, their lead singer and Rob Thomas were like very good friends right before they both hit it. Well, at least before Rob Thomas hit it really big. And then there was some falling out between them, and I think that's when he wrote the song "Mr. Jones and Me."
And Candy comes in again to correct us.
In Flames is another like 90s like I guess you can call them metal.
Yeah.
Atreyu, which was named after the character from Neverending Story.
Oh yeah, Atreyu, which we talked about in our '80s movies stream we did a couple weeks. Everybody go look at the playlist. We have the playlist of our previous episodes of Two Stoners and a Drunk. The first one we talked about '80s movies.
Then we covered 80s music, and now we're here.
I'm trying to think of some metal bands for Wookie.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost on them. Like I said, I was never a big metal fan.
Arch Enemy was a metal band that came out of the 90s.
When was DRI?
80s.
Okay.
Children of Bottom. I think they were the 90s. I don't think they started in the 80s. I think they started in the early 90s. Yeah, there's a lot of good metal bands. I was big into metal back in the 90s. I'm surprised I'm having a hard time. Amorphous, I believe, was the 90s. Um,
Sepultura.
they were actually 80s, 1984 to be exact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. And their very first album actually was sung. They're from Brazil, so it was sung in like this like Portuguese, Spanish hybrid language that they spoke from the town that they were in. And I just remember me and my buddy who was on stream with me earlier. We were in Spanish class in high school, and it was a day like people had to bring in like a dish, like either like a Spanish dish or Spanish drink or Spanish dessert, So we brought the Sepultura album in. That was our Spanish music.
Nice.
And the best part is she was like in her like late 60s, early 70s, and she was like, she went out and bought the album. Miss Arouse, our Spanish teacher, I remember this 5'2" short little Spanish lady with like this thick accent. She was like, "Oh, I like it. I like it."
Yeah, Wookie called out another one is Incubus.
Incubus, yeah.
And I mean, that's hard not to mention them. I mean, they came out with the song Drive. They came out with Pardon Me.
Well, no, somebody else mentioned them because I mentioned that I saw them down in New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You did.
Yeah. But I don't remember who mentioned them. So I apologize about that.
That's okay. I at this time I have to release a public service announcement. Wookie, do not confuse the stoners, please. You paid attention in the chat. You were there. You knew I forgot.
Oh, I know somebody that we haven't talked about that was like a super huge sensation. I'm the drunk, by the way, in the 90s that we haven't talked about that none of us on this panel liked. I hope. New Kids on the Block.
They were 80s.
80s.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
They were 80s.
I was still in school when them shits came out.
I remember they had a contest. You had to write in like whoever sent in whatever junior high school sent in the most postcards, they would come and do a show. And the girls in my school went my junior high school came in second place by like 20 postcards. And like I was thankful that they weren't coming. Well, actually, no, because I think we would have got a free day off or something like that. So you didn't have to go to the show; you just could stay home. So I guess I was a little bummed that we didn't win. But yeah, I remember that was junior high, and I went to junior high from 87 to 89. 3 years, 86 to 89, something like that. So.
Oh, that's another one. Color Be Bad. We haven't talked about them.
No, we haven't.
There's probably a reason we haven't talked about them.
Christina Aguilera. She was she was 90s. Britney Spears.
Oh, Meatloaf. That's when he did I'll Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That. That was a big hit.
Yeah, that's a 90s song.
Yeah, but he started late 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, late 70s, early. I want to say late 70s, but it could have been early 80s. I feel like it's late 70s.
Yeah, it was. I was just talking about that particular song being popular in the 90s.
Then going by that, if we're just going to pick a song, Bryan Adams, Everything I Do, Everything. Robin Hood soundtrack.
Yeah,
Great song and great movie.
Yeah.
Everything I do it for you.
Stevie B, the Postman song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Damn, he brought out Stevie B, man.
That's why Anthony's here for the deep dive.
Then there was a guy called Timmy T. He was a white guy.
Time After Time.
No, One More Try. His song was One More Try.
Timmy T, he did another song called Time After Time. That's where I learned about him, and that's like for the time, that's a jam song too.
Well, the only reason why I even remember those because like the girl I was dating at the time loved those two songs, the Postman song and one more try. So I actually learned how to play them on the piano because I was trying to get laid. I was 14.
How'd that work out for you?
I came close a few times, but I always got interrupted because you're 14, you're not really smooth, and you don't have your timing down. And next thing you know, my little sister comes home from school, comes barging through the door. Yeah. It wasn't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much.
Damn you, little sister.
Seriously.
I know we've already talked about Boys to Men, but I would just like to raise a toast to Boys to Men for all the slow dances I got in middle school to your songs, because that was always the middle school dance, like slow dance song was Boys to Men songs.
Yeah, Boys to Men.
Yep.
Somebody we haven't mentioned and definitely falls on the female rockers of the 90s. Not saying that she was a good musician. I think her band really carried her, but Courtney Love with Hole.
Oh yeah, I liked Hole's album. That's a good album.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
That's another album that I can listen to pretty much straight through. I still have that CD.
Excuse me.
I think she was done in when the band kind of like broke off from her and they went their separate ways from her. I think it really kind of crippled her really badly because they really were the driving force behind that.
Yeah, but they didn't do anything themselves, so.
True.
They didn't have her name, which had some clout back then, and she just didn't have the talent to do something solo,
No. Well, her one talent was she liked to pull her shirt down in the concerts, but unfortunately that doesn't make for very good.
Yeah, at that time she had like the whole heroin chic look.
Yep. And unfortunately, with age, sometimes you kind of run out of time with that kind of gimmick.
Yeah,
I totally just heard you say AIDS.
Did I say AIDS?
No, that was what my brain heard before it caught up. I totally at first heard you say AIDS, and I was like, "Yeah, that would do it."
Wookie Enigma still gets me laid to this day.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Although they are an 80s, late 80s band, but yeah, their music is timeless. I put on Enigma and yeah, it's over. But if you want to go that route, then there's Enya, which is a 90s kind of ripoff of Enigma.
Didn't they do like that chant music?
Yeah, it's like very new age Celtic stuff.
Yeah. My mom used to listen to that stuff. I wasn't very happy about it.
I like it. I like it like late at night when I'm like super stoned.
I would probably like it now. I didn't like it then as a kid.
Yeah.
Riding around with your mom and she's like bumping Enya and you're like, can we not really listen to the radio or something?
Sail away, sail away.
I think that's the kind of music when we were younger people I don't think we could appreciate. And now that we're older, we know not to.
Yeah, there's a few CDs that I've had that now I kind of wish I hadn't wasted the money on.
I had a friend of mine, guy I went to school with, blasting Enya. I'm like, man, is there a talk we need to have? Is there something you need to tell me? Because
that music gets to your feels.
Yeah, it's like you want to start talking about feelings or something. I think we need to just drop me off and let you go about your feels the other way.
It's like remember those monks or whatever did that album? It was like chants and stuff.
Wasn't those chants Enigma?
Nah, I think it was somebody different. I can't remember what order they were. You remember that, Anthony? It was like an order of the monks that put an album out, like a chant album.
I remember it.
I can't remember. It was some kind of order of monks, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember
who they were.
Yeah,
but it was like Gregorian chants or some shit.
There's another female rocker that comes to mind that we haven't spoke of, and that's Liz Phair.
Oh.
Yeah,
not familiar.
She came out in '93 with Exile to Guyville, and it was a response to the Rolling Stones' Exile on Main Street, and that was like her big breakout. And she was known for sexually explicit lyrics and she had the girl next door look, but she kicked ass with a Fender Mustang, and she got to a lot of success. Um, some of her best known songs were "Fucking Run," "Never Say Nothing," "Supernova," "Whip Smart." And she's actually a very talented lady. She really didn't get much credit, like she should have. You know, unfortunately, I think Bork took over more credit.
Rambling Canuck pulls out the Baja Men. Who let the dogs out?
Oh, well, here's one from the 90s, and we talked about the movie and the soundtrack. Aliyah.
Yeah, Leah and
Oh, Aaliyah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Didn't she die in a car crash? And
plane crash.
Plane crash.
oh, was it a plane crash?
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it was right at the end of the filming of Queen of the Damned. So much so at the end, the final scene was a major part for her. And they had to make the choice between doing digital animation at the end or actually scrapping the whole movie. And her brother, who was executor of her estate affairs, he made the call to go ahead and finish the movie with CGI. And the very end of the movie, if you notice where she walks in at the last scene, that is completely CGI.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true.
Yes.
Because that was her first movie role, and she was super excited about it, and he wanted her to have it released, or he wanted it to be released for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Her brother was like a really good guy. You know, it seems like when you listen to him talk after the fact, you know, like he really loved his sister, and it was a shame. I think, you know, musically and as far as an actress, that's a hell of a loss to us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So much potential.
Jennifer Lopez.
Oh yeah.
Beyonce,
Yeah.
Destiny's Child.
Right. Yeah. Destiny's Child. Shakira.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, I hate to be the one to pull the plug. We could talk about this all night, but we've been going for just a little over an hour and 45 minutes. So, if you'd be so kind, Anthony, do you have a 90s song to play the show out for us?
I do, but my guitar is still in the car. Give me a minute. I'll go get it.
Okay.
All right. Hold on one sec.
We'll just talk amongst ourselves.
Yeah, let's talk about how cool we could be if we too knew how to play guitars or anything.
I have to sit here and wait for him to go to his car because I cannot play guitar.
I could put on some background music and claim I am, but I think y'all probably figure that out pretty quick.
I played Rock Band one time drunk and played the drums and knocked the whole drum set over and broke it. My son got really pissed. Apparently, a plastic set of drums and a 200 something pound drunk dude don't go together very well.
Did you try it sober? That might have worked better.
No, I didn't try it sober. By the time I broke the drums, I couldn't try it sober.
Ladies and gents of the chat, the people that are here, I just want to remind you, the link I'm getting ready to drop in here for you is Anthony, aka Midnight Images, own playlist from his YouTube channel. This covers like all of the great jams he has put out, and then including some of the most recent stuff, which you really ought to check out, which is some of his impromptu jam sessions that are live streams on YouTube. Don't miss out on them. Those things are really good, folks.
Yeah, he did one tonight, as a matter of fact, with two of his buddies, an impromptu like bonfire jam session that was really great with the three of them.
Yeah, I was very upset with that stream though.
Yeah, your internet was a little spotty, I think. The audio kind of cut in and out a little bit.
Were you using StreamYards when you did that?
I'm sorry?
Were you using StreamYards for y'all's jam session tonight?
Yeah, but we were outside of my buddy's backyard. It was like real like impromptu. I had to go drop off my PA because his sister's getting married and he's playing, for the procession and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just going to drop it off. I hadn't seen him in a while. So we were like, oh, we'll grill up some hot dogs and have some beers and we'll just hang out. So I grabbed my buddy Matt. We went over there and we're like the three surviving members of our band, so it's kind of like a reunion of sorts. So I just grabbed my laptop and, interface and stuff like that, and we just kind of it wasn't planned, and it was the first time I had that set up too, because I basically plugged us into the PA and then had my mic pointed at the speaker. But what really irks me about the whole thing, hold on a second. What really irked me about the whole thing is for when I'm like here doing this with you guys, to try to keep some of the background noise out, I have a gate effect on my mic, which cuts out a lot, unless it's like coming directly into the mic. So you don't hear my buddy's hand drums at all on that whole stream, because I forgot to turn it off.
Uh-oh.
So either next time I got to turn it off,
No.
or I got to mic him up. So
Is Anthony froze for y'all too?
No.
Oh, maybe it was just on my side. Sorry.
no problem. But yeah, so that really bummed me out. But yeah, learn. I'm new to this whole streaming thing, so
I mean, other than it cutting out here and there, I mean, it sounded awesome. You had the sound and everything good. And then once the lights and the fire came on, we could see you. I mean, everything was great. It's just the audio cut in and out a little bit.
yeah.
One thing I have found that if you share audio on StreamYards, for some reason, that does happen sometimes. I don't know if it was that or just internet connection, but
It could have been internet connection. Like I said, we were outside in his backyard. I don't know where his router was located in his house or anything. So for all I know, it was like on the other side of the house or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I literally just like, hey, we're gonna go live, and they were like, okay.
Well, guys, if y'all want to mute out, we'll let the master show how this skill is done.
Yeah, we'll let Anthony close the show out. Then we'll do our goodbyes, and everybody in the chat, you're in for a treat.
All right. Well, since we were talking 90s bands and Alice in Chains got thrown around a lot. Can you guys hear that? Oh, you probably can't. Hold on. Bear with me. All right, can you guys hear that?
Yeah, sounds good on my side.
All right, cool.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Yeah, it goes way. Oh, there's nothing more in my life. No colored clay and eventuality not same. As of now, I bet you've got me wrong. So unsure we reach for something strong. I can't let go. Thread that tapestry unwinding slow. Feel tortured brain. Show your belly like you want me to. As of now, I bet you've got me wrong. strong. I haven't felt like this in so long. In a sense too far gone from love that won't last forever. Something's gotta turn out right. Yeah, sugar taste, sweetness doesn't often touch my face. Stay, if you please. You may not be here when I leave. As of now, I bet you got there wrong. So shall we reach for something strong? I haven't felt like this in so long. Wrong, in a sense too far gone from love. I haven't felt like this in so long. In a sense too far gone from love that won't last forever. Something's gotta turn out right.
Yes. I'm not fancy. I don't have a clap track, so I'll just have to clap for real.
I know, right? With Chris and Tom, they got like
Yeah, they have all that fancy shit. I just have to sit here and clap by my microphone.
Oh, I like that. Can't find my lighter. He put cell phones.
Well, you just played for us, Anthony. You weren't here at the beginning to talk about your channel and everything. If you want to go on and introduce yourself to everybody and your content.
Yeah. My name's Anthony, obviously. You can find me at my channel, Midnight Images, where I play my guitar a lot and draw and talk comics and movies and all sorts of good stuff. If you're just interested in art, you can go check me out on Instagram at Midnight Images Design. And you can catch me on Marioki on Mary Mayhem's channel every other Saturday, even if it's just for like a half hour at the end, because I work Saturdays late. And lately I've been hanging out with these fellas. So, make sure you guys are subscribing to them too.
Awesome. Mock, Sith, you have anything you want to add?
Well, first thing I do want to throw out there, don't forget, guys, go to Mary Mayhem's channel, sub her, follow her on Twitter. She covers a lot of variety of topics, everything from RPG on one Saturday and karaoke the next. She also does topical shows during the week, and she also has this really improv comedy show that's really cool called Shenanigans. You guys go check her out and keep up with me or Han, and we tweet out when she goes live, and we'll let you know. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter or at the dispensary, Hill 420.
And everybody's info, including Anthony's, is in the description of the stream as well. Sith, JJ, you have anything to add? Yes, no, maybe.
Froze, maybe.
It would help if I had my mic on. Yeah. Woo.
Anything you want to add as we close out, Sith?
No, Most of you in chat know who I am. I'm Sith Lord 3827. I consider myself one of the OG fans of the Star Wars IP. You can follow me at Sith Lord 3827 on Twitter. Any ideas? You can DM either me or Han. Han will put his out there in a moment. For show ideas, we're trying to stay out of mainstream media, I guess, right, guys? You know, try to do some of the best nostalgic stuff. So that's me. Follow, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. And Hail 420.
All right. Well, everybody obviously knows I have a YouTube channel because you're here. I'm Han Star. You find me a lot of times over on Mary's shows as a mod. Mox is also my mod bro over there. We're the Mod Brothers. I've said in the chat a couple times. We're always looking for ideas for the show. So after this gets posted onto my channel, either comment on this stream or I have my Twitter handle up there on the screen. You can DM me at HanstarYT. You can also find me on Instagram at HanstarYT under the same handle. And other than that, I think it's it. I think we had a pretty good show, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but we had a really a good chat. Lots of good people came through.
To the few of y'all that are still with us, Wookie, Son of Red Shirt, Ramblin' Canuck, Candy Cane, we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope to see you next week.
And we don't know yet what the topic's going to be, but we'll be live next Sunday, 11:30 p.m. And like Mock said, follow me or him, and we'll tweet it out as soon as we figure out a topic. We'll let you know, and we look forward to having everybody back with us next week.
Well, 11:30 Eastern.
Yeah, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sorry. And
Right.
if nobody has anything else, then we'll say our goodbyes to everybody, and we'll cut it.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good
Good night,
night.
everybody. Thanks for being here, everybody.